Well, good evening, everyone. Are you guys excited? Maybe a little bit excited about what day today is? Hands up, anybody who's excited. Okay, excellent. Choir, excited? Little? Yeah? It's Christmas Eve, so welcome to this family service at Lawrence Park Community Church. My name is Reverend Stephen Milton, and I'm one of the three ministers here at this church. Dr. Reverend Eric Bacon is here, and out in the hallway, Reverend Roberta Howie's here, who's our young adults minister, and you're going to see a lot of her later, because she is going to be narrating our special Christmas play, which we've written just for kids. She's going to be telling the story of the bird who was Mary's neighbor and was there for the whole thing. So this bird is going to tell you the story about how Mary met an angel and then had to go to Bethlehem and got married along the way. Oh, so many amazing things happened. And this bird's going to tell us the whole inside scoop. The whole story is going to come from this bird. And Roberta is going to be speaking as the bird. And you know what you guys are going to do? You're going to be in the play too. And I do mean all of you. One way or another, you're going to be involved in this. So we've got lots of costumes. And my wife Amanda over there is going to be the person who dresses you up. I'll let you know what you have to do at every stage of the way. And none of you have to say a word. There's nothing you have to memorize. Don't worry about it. Don't get nervous. We'll just put some costumes on you, tell you where to stand, and then we'll act it out. It's going to be so much fun. And even more fun, there's no sermon. So the play is going to take the place of the sermon. All right, so this is a kids' service, so if kids need to get up and wander around a little bit, that is fine as long as they find their way back. There's washrooms down the hall that way, okay? Family washroom, even with a change table if you need one. So we've got you all set up. All right, so this is going to be a fun service. Our choir is here to sing some lovely music. We've got a really fun play. So let's get ready, okay? And the way we do that in this place is we take a few deep breaths. But it being Christmas, instead of 2 deep breaths, I think we should take 3, okay? So, 1, and let it out. It's important to let it out. Another one, and let it out. And one more because it's Christmas, and let it out. And before we sing our first hymn, we want to acknowledge that we are standing on land which has been a place of human habitation for thousands of years. Long before settlers came from Europe, there were indigenous people on this land. They were here in the depths of winter in their longhouses. They were here telling stories to each other about how God had taken care of them. They called God Manitou, the Great Spirit. They were here hunting and fishing in the creeks. They were here when salmon ran up the rivers in the spring and the fall. And when folks like us came, they helped us. And they said, we'd like to share the land with you. You can have this land, but we would like to be able to pass through. And we didn't do so great on keeping that promise. So we continue to try to help restore our relationships with indigenous people. So now, why don't we sing our first hymn, which is O Come All Ye Faithful. So let's all stand, everybody, and we shall sing.
Joyful, triumphant,
light this for you. So we are going to light the last of the Christ candles today. For 4 weeks before Christmas, we've lit the candles of Advent for hope and peace and joy. And hope is a trust that the darkness will not extinguish the light. Peace is justice, comfort, the end of strife, and inclusion. Joy, the pink one, comes when we see the wonder and glory of the world as God does. Love is a way of treating one another as recipients of God's promise. And tonight we light the central one, the Christ candle, the light of the world. Tonight we remember how something that started off so small and ordinary, the birth of a child in a manger, is something much, much bigger. The ordinary became extraordinary. Okay, so you can light the candle. Okay, and if you could say these words.
As we light the Christ candle, may Christ's light shine from our hearts with hope, peace, joy, and love, and something bigger, the image and likeness of God.
Thank you, Barb. And now we're going to sing just a couple verses of This Little Light of Mine, and the lyrics will be on the screen. This little Mike, please. There we go. Thank you very much. You can stay standing because now we are going to pass the peace of Christ. We Christians believe that Jesus came to spread a certain type of light into the world, the light which gave life to the entire universe in the beginning, the light which you see in someone's eyes when they're being forgiving or kind, the kind of light that you see in a baby when it looks into your eyes and knows that it's safe. That light, which is at the heart of all things, is what Jesus came to share, and which we have been passing like a torch on a relay race ever since. So I invite you now to stand and move around a little bit. Offer the peace of Christ to each other. Peace be with you. Please, show the peace of Christ. Hey, Aiden, peace. Hey, peace, Charlotte. Okay, so it's now showtime, folks. I'm going to basically be your director, whereas Roberta is going to be our narrator. She'll be up there most of the time. Over the course of the play, we're going to be here, but at a certain point, we're going to go into the gathering hall. And I invite everybody who is able to move and comfortable moving to join us in the gathering hall, and then we'll all come back. There's going to be times where you're going to want to stand and move around a little bit for this. Trust me, you will. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask every once in a while for some people to volunteer to be players in this. And of course, we want the kids to play in this, but we're going to need some adult help too. So we've got lots of costumes and lots of props, so this is going to be fun. So to start, we need 6 players. We need a child to play the bird. So I need a child who's willing to run around and hold this bird. Can I get a suggestion? No, I think Charlotte should probably be married. Can you be the bird, Aiden? Thank you. Okay, Charlotte, who's one of our regular Sunday school players, I think it's safe to have her be Mary. But we also need to have 2 people who will play Mary's parents. So can I get a couple of parents for Mary? Anybody want to be a parent? It's probably a better role for an adult to play. So I see finger pointing over there. You too? Oh, you do? Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you. We also need, and this I think should go to a child, we could really use an angel. Oh, you'd like to be an angel? Fabulous. Okay. All right. Go see Amanda and tell her that you would like to be an angel. All right. I think that's everybody. So we've got the bird, we've got Mary, we've got Joseph. Oh, we don't have a Joseph yet. We need a Joseph. Somebody want to be a Joseph? It'd be good if this was a child. Any children back there who want to be Joseph? We're not too concerned about gender conformity here, so. Oh, look, Joseph, would you like to play? Okay, great. Joseph was an older man than Mary, so this is working out perfectly. Okay, so we got Joseph, we got Joseph's parents, we have the bird, we've got Mary, and we've got an angel. I think we're ready for our first couple scenes. Okay, so, right, okay, and I will give you guys cues. So the way this will work is you watch me, I'm going to be sitting here, and I'll tell you where to go, but listen to Roberta. Roberta will say things like, and then the angel spread its arms, and then the angel should spread her arms, okay? So look at me for where you're supposed to stand, and once you're standing, listen to what Roberta has to say. And if you don't get your cue, I suspect Roberta may remind you, so it'll be good. All right, Roberta, take it away.
Thank you very much, everyone. Woo! The audience has some feedback. I think we're sorting that out. While we're sorting that out, the plan, as Stephen has posed, is that you do not need to memorize your lines. I promise there is nothing that you need to say. All you need to do is pay attention, because it will be something for everyone. For example, if I say, once upon a time, there was a beautiful, gorgeous choir who decided to wave wildly at the entire congregation. See? Just like that. We could do this. As we gather together, let's take a moment, and like Stephen said, if you need to wander around a little bit, if you need to shake some sillies out, go right ahead. I promise I have the microphone, I have a very loud voice. I don't have competition here. We're good. This is the very first story of the very first Christmas. It was a time when many strange and wonderful things had happened. There were angels in houses, and angels in dreams, and even angels in the sky singing. And most wonderful of all, a child was born who came from God and was God in human form. I know, because I saw it all. As a directorial note, the bird's name is Sarah. The choir has posed that the name be Roberta. So thank you. I am Roberta, a little bird who knew a teenage girl named Mary. You see, I lived in a little town called Nazareth. I lived in a tree outside Mary's house. Mary was a teenager. I'm not sure exactly how old. Birds aren't good at counting, let alone in human years. I used to sit on her window ledge and watch her sew. She was a nice girl, and she lived with her mother and her father. One day, her mother and father came over, and they had a guest. His name was Joseph. They all sat down. He was older than Mary. His parents and Mary's parents had agreed that Mary should become Joseph's wife. Now, women did not have a lot of choice about who their husbands were back then. As a bird, I think this is wrong. We should all be able to choose who we get to be with, but I'm a bird, what do I know? Joseph stood up and bowed towards Mary. And then Mary bowed towards Mary, thank you. And Mary nodded and agreed to marry him. Then he and Mary's parents left. Mary stared out the window for a very long time. Was she excited? Was she sad? I couldn't tell. A few weeks later, something amazing happened. I was in my tree still outside of Mary's house when I saw a glowing light coming from Mary's room. It was though the sun was coming up in her house, which was very strange. I flew down to the window to take a look. I saw the most amazing thing. So, I'm not sure what it's called, okay? I'm not sure. I think maybe you can help me. Because it was like this little bird person has wings. Look, I know birds, I know people, I don't know bird people. What is it called? A ladle? An angle? A Los Angeles? Any ideas? Thank you, an angel. Okay, so fine, this angel got down on one knee and said these words to Mary, "Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women." And then Mary, who was really surprised by this angel being in her house, said something like, "Say what now?" And she put up her hands to cover her eyes because the angel was so bright. Then the angel put her hands up to reassure her and said, "Don't be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. Behold, you will conceive and bring forth a son. His name will be Jesus. He will be great. He will be called the Son of the Highest." Mary lowered her hands. Her mouth was open. Her jaw hit the floor. Then she said something like, "Are you for real? I am already engaged to Joseph. He thinks I will have his babies, and you're saying I'm going to have God's baby instead? How? Absolutely not. I haven't been with anyone." The angel stood up and said, "With God, all things are possible. If you're willing, God's Spirit will go to you, and you will become pregnant, and you will carry a baby that will save the world." And the angel spread her arms out really, really wide and said, "Doesn't that sound awesome? What do you say?" Mary sat there and thought for a while. She didn't rush. She was quiet. I wondered if she was going to call for her parents to get the strange bird person out of the house. She put her hand on her belly, and she stood up and faced the angel and said, "I'm in. Sign me up." And just then, it seemed like a bright light came shining through the window over my head. I thought something like a dove rushed past, but it went so fast I couldn't be sure. Mary had suddenly a big smile on her face, and she sat back down. The angel walked out of the room. Everything looked the same as every other day, but I knew everything had changed.
So we need some more cast. We need 4 adults who are going to carry a canopy for the wedding scene, and we need 1 little one to play the rabbi who gets them married. Okay, can I get a little one? This is a really simple scene. All you have to do is stand up here, and you're going to make it possible for Mary and Joseph to get married. Any little ones interested? Oh, okay. Excellent, thanks. If you could go to Amanda, please. She will set you up as a rabbi. Reformed, obviously. But I still need 4 adults for the canopy. All you have to do is hold a stick and walk down the aisle. Natalie, thank you, great. And you guys can head to the back where you'll find the canopy and Amanda will set you up. Okay, so that's 2, great, 3, and Barb, great, 4. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our parts, and now we're going to resume our story. We're going to need our Mary's parents, and Mary are going to have to be up here. And you're right where you should be, Aiden, with the bird. You're going to watch this scene happen. And Mary's going to be up there, and Joseph's going to be up there too.
At first, no one could tell something special had happened. After a few months, it was fairly clear. Mary's belly started to grow in size. One day, I was in my tree outside and I saw Joseph in the yard talking to Mary's parents. As you come down, he threw up his hands in surprise. They were crossed. They put their hands on their hips because this wasn't supposed to happen this way. And Joseph was just as shocked as Mary was. Then he started shaking his finger and saying, absolutely not. He said he wasn't the father. He turned around, angry, and left for his workshop. I followed him. He was a carpenter, and outside his house he had a workshop. He took a hammer and started hitting it against a piece of wood really hard. It didn't even have a nail in it. It made some very loud noises. It scared the other birds. But not me, because I'm brave. He seemed mad, but then he got very, very tired. He sat down in a chair. He decided to get some sleep. And he fell asleep. Then the most amazing thing happened. While he was sleeping, that angel that visited Mary appeared in his yard. He stayed asleep While the angel spoke to him, the angel spread her arms wide and said, "Joseph, don't be afraid to be with Mary. She is pregnant with God's child. She's done nothing wrong. Her baby will bring good news and love to the world. You will name him Jesus, which means God saves." And then the angel left, floating away. And then Joseph woke up and knew that he was going to marry Mary and that all will be right in the world.
Okay, now we're going to have a wedding. So, Mary and Joseph, you need to go to the back, and our canopy holders need to go to the back. Okay, are they? Oh, they're all set up. Fantastic. And our rabbi, where's our rabbi? Oh, thank you, Rabbi. If you could stand right here on the first step. Okay, all right. And I think it would be appropriate for all to rise as the couple comes down for their wedding. So Joseph and Mary should be under the canopy. This is a Jewish custom that they come under a canopy, and you guys are all going to walk this way to the rabbi.
Later, all the birds of Nazareth gathered outside to watch Joseph and Mary's wedding. They walked through the streets under a canopy. When they stopped, the rabbi joined them under the roof of the chuppah. She led them in their wedding vows. It was beautiful. Some people in the village, that's all of you, were whispering. There were rumors. They didn't like rumors. Mary was pregnant already. Some people said Joseph wasn't even the father. But Mary and Joseph knew this was a very special child. It was God's child. At the end of the ceremony, the entire gathering congratulated them, shouting, "Mazel tov." 1, 2, 3. Mazel tov. There was dancing. It was great. As the wedding drew to a close, they knew that they had to prepare many weeks later as we got a donkey.
Any donkey potential there? Oh, great. Oh, look. That coat looks very warm. You need to take some and a knapsack, too.
And our chuppah holders. Thank you very much, our chuppah holders. I think
so.
We are
You guys can go to
yes.
you can go over to Amanda's station and put down the canopy. Joseph, if you could go over here and pretend to be loading up your donkey, because you guys are about to get ready. Thank you, Rabbi. You guys are about to get ready for a long trip. So come over here. You can sit down, Mary. You look very tired.
Mary was now married to Joseph, but their happiness did not last long. One day, I saw them packing some bags and placing them on the donkey. The weird thing is that this was happening all over town. Everyone was doing this. Lots of people getting ready for a trip. I flew down and asked the donkey what was happening. I said, "Hello, Sir Donkey, where are you going?" The donkey replied, "Bethlehem." "But why?" The donkey said, "The Roman government had ordered every man to travel with his family to the place he was born. It was so they could be counted and taxed more." But Mary had already given birth, I said. She shouldn't, or was about to give birth. She should not be riding a donkey. She's very pregnant. She'll be giving birth any day now. It'll be a hard ride. Don't worry, the donkey said. She's not too heavy. Besides, I'm a smooth ride. Well, no offense to the donkey, but I was worried. I decided to come along. If Mary got into any trouble, they could use me to send a message to her family. You know, as a tweet. Especially if the baby came out while they were on the road, they would need someone to tell the others the news. So I left with them as we went to Bethlehem all together.
First door over there.
We are taking this on the road, folks.
Donkey. So donkey and Joseph. Joseph leads the donkey. Mary is on the donkey, as it were. And all of us need to go this way. Come.
So we set out for Bethlehem, Mary on the donkey's back and Joseph walking in front, leading the donkey. I flew above them and rested on Mary's shoulder when I got tired. I knew she wouldn't mind.
We're going over there. So we're going over here. Okay. And Joseph, you are going to knock on that door 3 times. Yeah, this one. No, right here. Right there. Okay.
It was a long trip. I counted 7 days, but I'm not very good at counting. So it may have been longer, and so many hills. If I had to walk them, I'd be exhausted, but, you know, I had Mary. We arrived at Bethlehem. It was late. We were tired. We needed a place to sleep. So we started knocking on the doors of the inns to get a room. Joseph knocked on the door of an inn. No answer. He knocked again. Still no answer. One more time, he banged on the door. Suddenly, there was a man who looked very tired, dressed in his bedclothes. "What do you want?" he grumbled, rubbing his eyes. I guess we got him out of bed. Joseph pointed to Mary. "We need a room for my pregnant wife and myself." The innkeeper pulled out a sign. "No room, they're full," the sign said. Then he went back to bed. So we tried the place down the street. This time, Joseph kept knocking on the door until the innkeeper appeared. This time, a woman answered. "What do you want?" she asked. Joseph pointed at Mary. He said, "We need a room for myself and my pregnant wife." The innkeeper put her hands to her face. "Oh my goodness, you poor things. You're traveling when she's this close to having a child. You must be exhausted." Mary patted her belly and said, "We are. Do you have a room for us, please?" The innkeeper put her hands on her head, so upset. "I just rented out my last room. Had I known, I would have saved it for you. I have no more rooms left." Now this was bad. This was very, very bad. Mary and Joseph looked sad and tired. Even Sir Donkey was tired, and he drooped his head. So I had to do something. I knew I came along for a good reason. We couldn't just sleep on the street. So I flew up in the air to look around. Somewhere, anywhere. I flew over the roof of the inn, and in the back, I saw a stable. I raced there as quickly as I could, through traffic, through snow. I found a piece of straw. There were cows and chickens there. It wasn't perfect, let's be honest, but it's better than nothing. Mary could lie down on the straw. I swooped down, I grabbed some straw, I flew back. I gave it to the innkeeper. I dropped the straw on the table in front of her. I chirped to get her attention. Fortunately, the innkeeper was a smart woman. "Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. We have a stable in the back. It's kind of smelly, but it has some warm straw where you can lay down. You can have my stable for the night." at half price. The innkeeper knew what she was doing. Joseph shook her hand. He was so happy to just have a place for the night. Mary blew kisses at her, exhausted. The innkeeper came out the door and led us to the stable. It was a good thing I came along after all. When we arrived at the stable, Mary needed to lie down for a bit. Joseph put down some blankets on the straw and she was able to rest. She gave her a pillow and she was able to just chill for a moment.
Okay, so now we're in the stable. We're going to meet some shepherds. We're going to have some sheep. So we're running out of kids, folks. Being a sheep is not an ambitious, difficult thing. I know we have another child back there. I'm not sure if she wants to play a part. Anybody who wants to play a part, now is a good time to come up. We need, say, 3 sheep. We're going to need a couple of shepherds. We've got our angel. That's okay. We could use some animals for the stable, like maybe a cow or 2. Anybody who hasn't had a costume on want to come up and just help us out with our little Christmas pantomime here? A couple of teachers. Excellent.
There are no small roles in a Christmas pageant.
Okay, so we got some sheep going. Excellent. We need at least 1 shepherd. Can we have 1 more shepherd? You know, the angels didn't sing to just 1 guy. No one would have trusted just 1 guy. There we go.
Hooray.
Thank you. Okay, fabulous. Oh, I almost forgot. We need 2 midwives. Honest to God, we need 2 midwives. Oh, excellent. Okay. Amanda will set you up with some midwife clothing. Yes, another midwife. Fabulous. Thank you. Okay.
I think that's everyone.
I think that's everybody. So
If we need anyone else, you'll jump on in.
Yep.
When we arrived at the stable, Mary laid down. The stable, let's be honest, it smelled a little bit, but it was okay. There was some sheep, there was an ox, there was a cow.
Oh, so let's get some sheep in there so you guys
Come
can
join
stand
us.
up on the stage behind Mary. Yeah, get the sheep up there.
We had
Excellent.
a little bit of everyone. We had some raccoons. Not sure where we had raccoons, but since when have we stopped raccoons from being where they wanted to be, folks?
It's a Toronto nativity.
It
there
is
had
a
to be
Toronto
raccoons.
nativity. And of course, everyone was here, including Sir Donkey, who was tired, but was just grateful that he didn't have to carry anything anymore. It wasn't long before Mary started to feel the baby coming. Joseph held her hand. But Mary squeezed his hand so hard she almost broke a finger and told him to get a midwife. So he went to go find a midwife. Fortunately, some women in houses nearby heard about the pregnant woman about to give birth. I'm not sure if God told them or the innkeeper, but eventually 2 midwives arrived with some warm water and blankets to help Mary give birth.
Guide them to Mary.
The midwives knelt in front of Mary and offered all the help that she needed. The midwives helped Mary as she pushed, and then the baby was born. The baby was wrapped in a blanket and handed to Mary. She sat up and rocked her newborn son. Then the midwives took the baby and showed him to Joseph. It was a beautiful moment. And then the midwives put the baby in the crib and, oh, we need a crib. Can we put the baby back in the bucket? Can the donkey carry the baby? Where do we put the baby? I, as a bird, don't know where we put babies. Any ideas? What's that? A manger? Brilliant. We got this covered because we have a manger, the trough that the animals feed from. That's right. That's where Joseph decided to put baby Jesus, safely tucked away in the manger. The midwives sang a lullaby so that Mary could sleep. Fortunately, they had the help of an angelic choir. While the baby slept, I decided to go for a flight. After all, I've never been to Bethlehem before, so I wanted to explore. It was so hard to see much since it was nighttime, but there were a few fires burning in the town where people had set up camp. Otherwise, it was quite dark. But then, I saw a bright light coming from one of the hills above the town. I decided to fly over and see what was happening. Down below, there was a flock of sheep and a few shepherds. The glowing was coming from the angel who was speaking to the shepherds. The shepherds were so scared of this angel that they fell to their knees and were shaking with fright. They fell as close to their knees as they could, and they were shaking with fright. But the angel was really nice. The angel put her hands out and said, "Don't be afraid. I've come with wonderful news that will be the source of joy for all people. Down in the town below, a baby had been born who is Christ, the Savior of all. Go down into Bethlehem and look for a newborn who is Christ. He is wrapped in a blanket, lying in a manger." Then, as soon as the angel stopped speaking, suddenly there was singing from everyone. once the angels had finished their singing, the shepherds wanted to find Jesus in the stable. But how are they going to find Jesus in the dark? I had an idea, as always, a clever bird. I showed them the way. I chirped the whole way to the stable, and they followed me. Much to their surprise, the sheep came too. The sheep followed, yes. Once the shepherds and the sheep arrived at the stable, they got down on one knee, or as close as they could, or sat down. It was a long walk as well. Mary rose to greet them and invited them to come in. The midwives might need a helper. Teamwork here. Thank you, Mary. She knew her child was special. She knew the joy and happiness to people for many years to come that this child would bring. The shepherds told Mary about the angels that they had seen and the news that the baby was the Son of God. Mary sat with all of this quietly, thinking awful hard about what was happening. Just then, the baby started to cry a bit. Thank you. I knew someone would kick in. Mary took the baby out of the manger and rocked him. She started to sing a lullaby, and everyone joined in. And that is the story of, yes, baby Jesus being born, but more importantly, about me, the little bird, who helped to bring the Son of God a place to be born in Bethlehem. Never think you're too small to do something important. If we want to help God and other people, we will always be big enough. The end.
Thank you, everybody. You're all really good sports. So now we come to a very special time in the service. If you don't already have a candle, if you could put your hand up, someone will give you a candle. But we're now going to get into the candle lighting part of the service. Hubert and Kim are going to sing a duet as our ushers bring fire to you and light up your candles. Please keep them lit. I'll say a short prayer, and then after that, we'll sing Silent Night. And that'll be the end of the service. So, fire bearers will come in a moment. You guys are all set? Excellent. Thank you. Friends, let us pray. Loving God, we come to you on this Christmas Eve, full of wonder and hope, promise of joy, and the desire for peace. Thank you for helping us to bring the story of your birth to life this evening. Thank you for the sound of happy children who can't keep their energy contained. In a room where not all of us can kneel when we want to, it's a joy to watch children run around. We are here of all ages, and we know that you love us, no matter how young or how old we are. Please help us this Christmas to feel your presence. And may the light that you enkindle in us, like these candles, be a light that shines to our friends, to our families, and to those who we don't even know, who may not have a warm place to sleep tonight, who may need our help. For you were born with no place to sleep. Thank you for the blessing of this evening, and thank you for the beauty of your message to us. Amen. And now I invite you to please rise, and we're going to sing Silent Night. Friends, go now into this world on Christmas Eve with kind and daring hearts. Go in peace. The world is waiting. And whatever you do, do it with love, remembering that you are followers of Jesus. And may the love of God and the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the abiding presence of the Holy Spirit be with you now and always. Amen. You may now blow out your candles.